Okay, welcome back everybody to Coffee and Art on Monday morning. And I am going to work a little bit more in Mythomorphia. Got to remember to put that O in there. You know, like, let's do this. No, I can't do that because I need to take another picture of it first. I was going to put a little arrow there, but let me wait till I take another picture because I have to have a clean copy for my thumbnails. Anyway, so I have worked a little bit in the Mythomorphia. I have added an acrylic wash, and I'm going to tilt it up a little so you can see the color because the light's right there and it wants to flash it out just a little. So it's a little darker in person than you're probably seeing on camera. But I did a wash on the back of this with acrylic. And when I say a wash, I just mean a watered down Americana craft paint. Okay? Just water it down and do a wash. If you use it straight on, which you can use, it's straight on, and I'll do that a lot of times with a flat black background, is I just use it straight out of the tube or out of the jar or whatever you want to call it. But you got to remember, it's going to cover up your lines. So if you want to see any lines in the background, like here's some water rocks and coral or something in the background here. If you want to see your color book lines, you've got to water it down and make it into a wash. Just watered down acrylic paint. I like Americana craft paint just because it's my favorite. No sponsored or nothing like that. I just like it. So I did the backgrounds here on this page here in the blue. And then I did a teal and a kind of a lime green. Again, this is just the base. Okay? It's just the base coat. Yeah, I don't know, Clarice. It's hard to say. All right, and so I'm going to flip through and show you what else I've worked on in here. I have a wash on here, and again, it does look messy. I want it to have a watercolory effect, and this is just the initial wash. I can go back in here with another more darker blue or with pencil. Remember, the thing about the acrylic wash, the benefit of the acrylic wash is the effects you can get with your color pencil on top of acrylic paint that you can't get on if I had just colored this whole background with a blue pencil. You cannot go back on top of that, say with white pencil. Let me grab it here. And get that. You would not be able to do this on top of blue pencil. So, you know, there's just so many blending cool effects that you can get with your color pencil on top of an acrylic wash that you can't get with a base of just say blue pencil. Okay, and I know I've shown y'all. I wish I would have kept it. I always say I'm going to keep that example, and then I never do. Let me I'll show you here. Let me do my little test that I always do. Let me get the black. Oh, where's some black paint? Here we go. So, oh, it's a new one. Let me open it up. And by the way, the Americana, they do have a new label. This is their newer label. Has Deco Art really big. It's the same company, same paint. It just now their Deco Art logo is bigger. Just make sure you don't get satin or gloss. If you get satin or gloss paint, the pencil will not have this. You can't do this effect, okay? So I'm just going to put a dab out here, just to show you a little bit more. I just want to put a little bit out here. Okay, so we're just going to put some black acrylic paint. Where's that baby wipe I had? And then I'm going to take a black pencil and put some black pencil down. Okay, now let me dry that. You always want to make sure your paint's dry And I know y'all have probably seen this little demo 1,000 times, but so now I'm going to take my white pencil and I'm going to bear down as hard as I can on top of this black. Okay, it's smearing off into the side there, but look at you can't see any white on there. You know, and I'm pushing as hard as I can. Okay, and the best you can get is a dark gray. Now make sure anytime you use a light color pencil on top of a dark pencil, see that? You always want to make sure, that's why my table's always got pencil marks all over. I'm cleaning off the pencil. You want to make sure that your pencils are clean. Now, this is black acrylic paint. I'm going to put, look, I'm going to hold my pencil way back here with hardly any pressure. Look. See that white? And that's just a line. Here, I'll put some pressure on it there. See how you can do that? That's on top of acrylic paint. You can't do that on top of pencil. So when you have a wash of paint, this is the effects you can have. You can get like pretty glowy effects. Let's make it show up a little better. And you'll see me do tons of different things with the pencil on top of acrylic. But I like to show this every now and then because you can't get this. You can't get those glows and those light colors on top of dark colors on top of pencil. Okay? So, there's a little example. Okay, so anyway, that being said, my point is these messy washes in the background, have the paper cover on your... No, that's not why. The reason I have my table covered, these are just cheap folding tables. You know, folding, you get them at the hardware store. This is a 6-foot one here. And I have a couple layers. I start with a couple layers of paper just for cushioning. And now I think this is layer 14. We tested it out last week. I cut a slice in it to see how many layers. So when it gets too bad on the paper, I just cover it back up with another layer. And then eventually I'll take them all off and start over. So anyway, yeah, so this is just an initial wash. Now you can go in here with all kinds of pencil effects or more paint, more acrylic paint and everything. Let's move my thing under there. Okay, and then that one, and then the one that we were working on last week, 2 of them here. This double page spread, I finished her. And you see all that white glow? All that? That's because this is acrylic paint. So that's how you can get that glow. And so I wanted the whole tree to glow, and with the little fairies there. And then these big streaks here are a Posca pen. And you can use a Posca pen or or the Sharpie paint pen. Either one. Just a paint pen. And I streaked them out and then did the shadowing, the shading like with white pencil. So I finished this one and I did it all with just a yellow-orange Crayola kid marker and the mint green and pink Crayola kid markers, water-based, bullet tip, super tip. And there's, I did some of this on a video. And then I went in there with pink and mint pencil to shade the whole tree and all of this. And then a little bit of the orange, there's more of that orange marker. Because those are the colors that I wanted in her. Now, I did him to be like somehow connected to her by the background. But I haven't decided even what I want to do on this side yet, other than I've started doing some grays in his club there. But I really like the way it turned out. I haven't posted a picture of this. I was kind of waiting to see if I wanted to post this when I had this one done, but I might just go ahead and post this picture on its own. Okay, then I got another one going here with a wash. Again, I want the water's going to be green, all kinds of shades of green, and then the sky, again, this is just some white acrylic and the blue acrylic. And it's not as watered down. It's got a little bit of water in it, but there was nothing that I had to worry about that I was going to cover up. So I'm going to continue more clouds in this area. There were no designs, like this was not all over the whole thing. Because if this is kind of a little bit thicker acrylic paint with white in it, and which made it more opaque. So if you tried to put that over this, you would just completely cover that up. So if you want to see this, you have to put a wash. Just water. Okay, so there's a base coat for that. Again, it's just the base coat. And it looks a little messy, but, you know, I want it to be that not flat color in this case. Okay, then the other thing, let's see, I think the last thing I've done is I finished this double page spread. So in this case, I started out, I'm going to try to explain all the steps I took in this because this one's not recorded. Did you do the black spots? Black spots. Here? No, there's no black spots on this one. There's a lag in chat, guys. Are you talking about this? These are, yes, I did do these dots. I did stippling with the marker. That's all stippling. So, yeah. I'm trying to kind of read your mind and go back to where, you know, before the lag. And so what I did is I did the dark green stippling and an olive green kind of shade up. And then after that dried, or I think I hit it with the heat gun, then I went over it with pencil and kind of blended it up. Yeah, kind of blended it in with pencil on top of the stippling. Okay, so back on my dragon here. So what I did is I did a wash of maroon paint, a wash of a light blue paint, and then a wash of light lime green over the dragon and all these little snakes. So I'm going to try to explain to you everything I did on the page. Okay? Then, after that initial wash, and you'll notice that these leaves were very individual leaves down in here. I just almost painted over the original leaves completely with acrylic paint. So then I went in with color pencil, just Prismacolor, and started adding in the shading. So with a couple shades of green and a blue, I think it's peacock blue, and started shading. And remember, it's got the acrylic wash over it. So your pencil just does awesome things with that acrylic wash tooth. Okay? So then I did that for a bit and started shading. Then I went in here with a brush and a couple shades of acrylic green and just kind of dabbed it in. Just kind of dabbled in some couple of shades of green to give it kind of a scaly effect. Then when that was dry, I went in there with my white Posca and made little like scale lines, little C's, little hoops. And I did that and just did little scales. Then when that's dry, or hit it with the heat gun, when the white was dry, I took a lime green pencil and colored all over the white. The same thing with the snakes. Each one of these snakes has little white, either C's shapes or little dots. It started with little white dots or C's, like, you know, whichever I could fit in there on every single snake. Okay, over the whole thing. And then after the white dries, you take your pencil and color right over the top of it. And the white gets knocked back. Okay? The white turns to the green. But it's still bright. See the highlight on him? It's a nice bright but it's not pure white. Okay, on the mountains, the same thing. I started with a wash of light blue Americana craft paint. Then I started shading with a couple shades of blue pencil on top of the acrylic paint. And then I think I even went in there and highlighted a couple bits with white or light blue paint just to give it a little bit more spark, you know. I also splattered some dark blue on the mountains. I splattered some white up here in the trees. Here again, this was a wash of light brown. Okay, a wash of light brown. And then I went in here and swirled with my Posca. And then after the swirls dry, I went back over it with the tan color and knocked back the white. I left these white dots, so I thought it just kind of gave it a little bit of a brightness to the sky. Now here's, oh, and then this is all pencil. That's pencil. It's like 2 shades of red and a black. And I went and did all the little horns. And then the teeth are the Posca paint pen. Okay. Now here's where you got to be brave. After I did all of that, then I went in with white and lime green paint. This is dried from leftover from when I did this. And dipped my finger in both and got white and lime green on my finger and went in here and did this right over the top of everything. That's where you have to be brave, because you're going to be covering. There's no erasing that, okay? You can't erase this. So you just have to be brave and put that in there. And you could do it. I think I might have done a little bit with a baby wipe on some of the edges, but I put it on with my finger and then a little bit of blending with a baby wipe. But you got to be brave, because there's no going back from that, right? And then again, the little leaves down here, I just kind of dabbled them in with the paintbrush. You know, same for these leaves here. And see the glow? See the glow around the leaves? That is color pencil on top of acrylic paint. You can't get that on top of pencil on top of pencil. It's because of the acrylic paint you can get that coolness. Let me take a white pencil here and just kind of show you a little more. Like, now that's all paint here, but I can also add more kind of a glow. See how I can do that with pencil? Or you can do it around the leaves. Okay. It's because that's acrylic paint that you can get in there and do that. Okay. Hi, Hibiscus. Good to see you. Thanks, guys. So it did take quite many hours. I did not work on it straight through. I did this off and on at the end of last week. This weekend I was slammed. I think I got this done Friday night. I think I finally finished it Friday night, maybe early Saturday morning before the family all got here on Saturday. But anyway, it took a lot of hours. I'm not going to tell you it doesn't take a lot of time. Even with the acrylic paint, it still took a lot. Even for me, I thought it took a lot of time. So anyway, so that is, and I have, y'all are the first ones to see this. I've not posted any pictures of it yet, but I'll tweet out and put it on Instagram or something. So yeah. So it's a little flashed out because of the lamp there, but I think you can cut right about there. There we go. It's very rich, dark colors. I went really dark in the maroon sky, and that's indigo blue. Indigo blue, and by Fancy Lime in the mountains there. But I really wanted to do these scales, and which took quite a long time because I used just a tiny brush. Let's see, where's the brush I used? See, I think I just used this brush here. This tiny brush. and then just got in dabbed it in a couple of couple shades of greens, and then I just kind of stippled it in, and that would be like this. It would be like 3 stipples, 3 stipples, 3 stipples. So it took quite a while. And then, like I said, when that dried, I went in there with the white Posca and did all the little scale marks. So I really like how it turned out. And yeah, so there's that one. That's my really first completed page, double page spread. Although this page she's done, but he's not. And then the other one we're working on is the mountain scene, the Yeti. Let's see, where's our Yeti? Here. This is the other one we worked on. There is a video on this. It could take a lot. It does, Terry. I'm not going to say it doesn't take that long. Did you see pose for curb? No, I haven't posted any of these yet, Marie. I've not posted any of these. I mean, I posted a little thumbnail of this on last week when I did this with some pencil or some Neo colors in it, but it's not done. So no, not yet. But I always tag the artist whenever I know that they have a Twitter, Instagram, or a Facebook. So I will tag them. And in case y'all don't know, we're talking about Mythomorphia, and it's by Kirby Rosannes. And yeah, so there's a video on this from last week, and this is all done with the Neo Color 2. Okay, that's what all this is done. And then a little bit of shading, just a tiny bit of shading with pencil, and then a little bit of stickles on the stars. Let's see if I can capture there in the top of the mountain. See the top of the mountain glitter? Now, after I did this, I got to thinking, I know to put that on very, very thin. Okay, bye, Elizabeth. I know to put this on very, very thin, my stickles, because it can be bumpy if you just put a blob. You know, if I just put a blob on the stars or whatever, it's going to leave a bump. And the problem with that is then when you go to color on the other side, you're going to feel that bump. So if you decide to put any stickles or any kind of glitter, anything on your pages, make sure that I would just make sure you put it on thin and not bumpy. Because then when you go to do this page or even 2 pages over, you're going to be able to feel those bumps if you're not careful. And the problem with that is then when you go to color those next pages, you go to color here and it's going to leave a bump. I mean, you're going to see a ring or a bump from the stickles, right? Okay? So make sure that if you do use stickles or glitter, that you keep it thin. So again, I put some, there you go, you can see it right there on the tops of the mountains, but it's very thin. And even if you put it on like right out of the tube, then take your finger and smooth it out, okay, so that it's all flat. You just want it very flat so you don't have to worry about working over bumps. All right, so I think if y'all want, we can work on this page for a little bit, because I know, people are saying, well, I want to see the rest of how you do that page. So I think we'll work a little. Again, we will not be finishing. Oh, thanks, Janet. Janet's out of town, so she's not here. But she tweeted, thanks, Janet. I just saw that pop up, Janet. Thank you. And I hope you're having a fun trip. Janet and Jean will not be streaming today. So if y'all follow Janet and Jean, they're not streaming today. They're both still Easter vacationing. So, yeah. So there's the true color there. Again, when I lay it down, it does flash out a little because I have to have it bright enough to see and, yeah. So I kind of try to do that, or I'll take one of my journals here and just kind of prop it up just a little, and I'll hit the right light again. So anyway, maybe we'll just work a little bit more on We'll work a little bit more on this. Let's see what we can do here, guys. It's pretty good. Let's try to... Okay. It's not perfect, but you know, coloring on white is not. So these are... Hi, Busy. No, this is Neo Color 2, which we're going to continue doing down here. Okay? So I kept my Neo Color 2s out with those colors. And again, there is a video on this. Let me take a sip of coffee, guys. There is a video on this whole segment. So I think we'll continue on down here. And again, my purpose in this page here was first how to, do purple snow. But remember, the sun is setting behind the mountains. So it's setting behind, so everything up here is, let me move this light a little bit. Dark. So you wouldn't think that it would be so dark in snow, but yeah, it's because the sun's going down behind the mountains. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue. I'm going to let me get my water brush and a Kleenex to clean as I go. Clean the tip off my brush as I go. I'm going to go in here with, I think I'm going to start, and these are the colors that I was using. I'll tell y'all again what they were. Golden yellow, sky blue. Some of these are hard to read because it's black writing on dark paper. I have to get out my magnifying glass. This one is purple. I think it's just purple. Oh, let me find my magnifying glass. Purple violet, which is like a red violet to me. And then this one is violet. And then this is kind of a blue purple, but again, black lettering on dark blue paper. It is it blue violet? I think it's blue violet. And that's what we're going to start with some of the snow down here. All right. By Terry L. And Terry L. Yeah, her birthday's in about a week or two, I think. I just saw her and it reminded me. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of go in here. And I'm just going to pick it off of the brush here. You can use your and these are Neo Color 2 water-soluble crayons by Karen Dosh. I have a big set of 84. Okay, there's the colors I'm using, rolling around. I wanted to show you the lid here. This right here. Make sure you get the 2s. The Neo Color 1s are not water soluble. They're just like wax crayons. So if you want the water soluble ones, you have to get Neo Color 2. Roman numeral 2. Okay. All right. And you can use the top of the tray or another little porcelain tray if you want to blend colors or water them down. You can use them directly on your page and then water them down. I like to just pull it off the tip, but you can also use, like, let me get a porcelain tray, and which the lid, you could just use the lid of the Neo Colors, but you can get more, concentrated like that, okay, and pull it off. Or you can even mix colors. They are watercolors, okay, so you can do that multiple ways. All right, so now what I want to do, pull up my chair here, and I'm going to start shading. If I get too much, I'm going to pull some of it off. I'm going to start finding where the Kirby has actually put shading in the snow. And I'm going to start with that. okay, just as a base. Okay. Remember not to oversaturate. Now, the Mythomorphia is thicker, but at the same time, you don't want to oversaturate your page. It's best if you want it darker, like you put this purpley blue on and you want it darker, let it dry or hit it with a heat gun and then put another layer. It's the water that if you oversaturate your page, that's what's going to go through or pill your paper. So you got to just kind of make sure of that. So I'm going to start with the snow, but I'm also going to put some on the trees. Okay, but I'm starting with, this is my darkest purple right now. So I'm just kind of following the little landscape marks that Kirby's drawn in there. Okay. Maybe under these trees it'd be a little darker because, you know, it's shadowed back in there. Again, I would not put more than 2 layers before drying. So I'm not going to add any more there until that's dry. So I'm just going to go through, and it takes a while, guys. I will not be finishing this page today. Just saying. And I'm just going to find like the snow lines and some of the, and you know, just, you can draw some of your own in there. I hope y'all can see okay. I know it's tricky with white paper. If y'all have any questions, put it in caps. If you're watching this recording on YouTube, thanks for watching. This is a live show on Ustream.tv with the live, mostly awake, I love saying that, chat audience. And we usually have about 100. We got a little around 100 today. We usually have about 100 people. It's awesome if you can get a chance to come over and be a part of the live show. It's free. You just got to come in, make yourself a name, and sign in, and join in with the chat. So I'm just finding some of these darker, snowy areas that would be in shadow. There's a bridge right there, so I'll color that bridge probably another color. But right now I'm getting up under there, up under the bridge and up under the snow line, in between the trees. And it's supposed to be relaxing, guys. I know I do hurry a little bit on the show just to get as many examples and stuff done as possible. But you don't have to rush. You can take your time and just get in there and do your little watercoloring. And you don't have to have neocolor, because you can use watercolor. The thing is, just be careful not to oversaturate your page. And it's always best if you test in a back page of your book, whatever you're going to use, whether it's a gel pen, whether it's watercolor, acrylic paint, whatever you use, test on a back page to see what's going to happen. Because every color book's different, and you want to know what's going to happen. So there's a Yeti right here and a Yeti right there, but we're not there yet. We're not there, Yeti. Sorry, corny, couldn't resist. So I'm just going to kind of do some shading, so just so y'all can kind of see how the process of it goes. Thanks, Terry. And then again, some of these trees, they're gonna have purple on them too, because they're covered with snow. All the trees got snow on them, and they'll have a couple different shades. Right now I'm just concentrating on the landscape, on the ground for the most part here, and then maybe like right up under some of the trees in background. BG giggles. So yeah. And you could do this with bluer colors. You know, I'm going to add some blue in there. Here's my Kleenex. And if you see that, where's my mouse go? I keep bumping my mouse. There we go. If you see that it's getting too concentrated or too dark, like down here, I might want it to be a little lighter, then just wipe off the excess on your Kleenex and then continue on. Janet's ready to board her plane and go home. Is she actually getting ready to board and go home, or she's just ready to? Eileen. If you're listening, Janet, safe travel. Let us know when you get home. Yeah, Jean and Janet both out of town, so they can't stream today. But if you hear me talking about Jean and Janet all the time, Janet is Monkey Island Madness on Ustream and YouTube. She does the same thing I do, and Jean does. We upload our videos directly from Ustream to YouTube. And Jean is the musical scrapper. Although I haven't seen her scrap in years. She does mixed media, and she's really into watercolor now. Our Jean, music scrap Jean. And they both have YouTube and Ustream channels. Bye, Jill. Anybody else? I missed saying bye to Marilyn. Marilyn left, too, and I didn't even see her leave. She must have snuck out when I went to get coffee. So you can see I'm just kind of going in here between the trees. And, you know, again, you know, it's going to take a while, guys. It's, you know, these color books, they're called adult color books for a reason. It's kind of like when I was teaching Cam how to do gaming and use a computer and stuff when he was little. And, you know, some of the games I'd show him, they were a little tricky, you know, they're a little hard to play. And sometimes he'd get frustrated, but he never gave up. But he'd say, this is too hard. And I'd tease him, and I'd say, if it was easy, it'd be a baby game. And that would just make him try harder, because he didn't want to think he was playing a baby game. Yeah, I know you don't scrap at all, Jean. Well, occasionally you make a gift for a family member. But yeah, you don't. I don't either, though. What can I say, Jean? I don't either. I got 25 or 30 scrapbooks in the other room, which, by the way, the kids did go through when they were here this weekend. It made me so happy. It just warmed the cockles of Nana's heart. That the grands looked through the old scrapbooks when they were here, because, you know, they don't usually do that. But they did, so that made me feel good, you know, because I've got big 3-inch 12 by 12 binders full of scrapbooks, like 25 of them. And I don't scrapbook. I mean, we're all putting everything on our phones these days. I do occasionally print them out, and you know, but I don't really scrapbook them anymore. But I've got bins and bins and bins of photos. There's a little, like, armored glove right there. I know that's probably one of the things hidden, because Kirby hides things all in his doodle books, you know, and that's probably one of them. So can y'all see how it's coming along with the snow? But anyway, so have a safe trip, Janet, if you're getting on the plane. Should we make fun of I know y'all have seen, bless his heart, that guy that got pulled off of the United flight for when they overbooked. I know everybody's seen it. I'm not going to go into the issue, but some of the memes I've seen, oh my gosh, there was one. It was hilarious. So I'm kind of saying this because Janet's getting ready to get on a plane. So there was this one where it showed a SWAT team getting on a plane. SWAT, you know, a whole full-on SWAT team getting on a plane. And it said something like, okay, who ordered the extra peanuts? So, Janet, don't order any extra peanuts if you're on United. Hey, my fairy treasure, Angie Bell. Anyway, there's been some funny ones. Don't order any extra peanuts, Janet. All right, so can you see how that looks with all the shading coming along? Get down here under these trees. Lynn, dear, that's true, Lynn. Lynn said, God help them if they try to take Janet off the plane. Good one, Lynn. Good one. Oh my gosh. I'm just continuing on along the edge here. I'm kind of not off camera, but I'm way up here so I can get here on the edge. Lynn, that's good. And see, I can just go back in there as long as I, let it dry or don't oversaturate it. Put a couple shades, see how I'm getting some areas darker? Just kind of like start getting some lighter areas, and then this will start to dry. Then you can go back in and add another layer, because it's watercolor. So it's just like watercolor, you got to layer it. I would use purple or blue instead of gray, because gray just doesn't, it makes it look kind of flat. If you really look at snow, like right now, the snow's reflecting the purple mountains and the sunset. If you really look carefully at snow, it's really not gray. Well, it could be, maybe in the city where it's all like concrete and, but probably not out in nature. It's not going to be flat gray. And I'm going to add blue in here too. Right now I'm kind of adding a purpley blue. It's kind of like a dark blue, violet blue color, more on the purple side. Oh, but we gotta laugh sometimes. Just gotta laugh. If I knew where my little book is, I have one of my favorite. I think it's under the table here. Hang on, rabbit trail. I'm going under the table. Hang on. I'll be right back. Going in. Yeah, here it is. One of my little collage books here. Quote books. And it's Francis Bacon quotes. So I did a little mini collage book of Francis Bacon quotes. This was in 2013. And one of my favorite quotes is, hang on, I'll find it. This one. Imagination was given to man to compensate him for what he is not, a sense of humor to console him for what he is. So yeah, one of my little quote collage books there. Oh my gosh, and there's just all kind of funny memes. I mean, I feel for the guy, don't get me wrong. And all the money he's probably going to get for suing United. Oh my gosh. Dragging him off the plane. But there have been some funny memes. Okay, so see how that's going there? See how some's lighter and darker? And you just got to keep adding another layer here and there, but let it dry. Cover, she's going in for those art supplies. Oh my gosh, you girls. So once you get like all this done, you start to see, what you got left, right? And you can start doing like the bridge or the hand or the Yetis or whatever, There's a little rabbit right here. Go around him. And I'm not squeezing out any excess water. I'm just kind of letting it flow from the brush. And I'm just, pulling off right here. And then this is actually water, icy water. I think I'll do that blue. So I'm not going to get in there, although there's a little snow cap thing right in the middle there. There's some land masses coming in. But the water itself, I want to do like a blue and then probably put stickles on it to make it like icy. You like that book of quotes, Eileen? Oh, thanks. I have something I'm sending you. I had to send you something nice, Eileen. It'll probably go out this week because I'm sending you those flamingo Post-it notes. So because I'm sending you that, I had to send you something nice to make up for it. So I'm not going to tell you what it is. But those, I mean, Sharon L. would have a fit if I did not send you those flamingos. So those flamingo Post-it notes have to come to you. Eileen. Oh my gosh. And then over the weekend, it was Saturday morning. Wasn't it Saturday morning that April had her baby giraffe? And I was trying to make egg salad. I almost let my boiled eggs, hard-boiled eggs, that I was making the potato salad, I almost let them burn on the stove because I was tweeting with all these girls here waiting for April to have that baby, the giraffe. So she finally did. We all watched her drop that baby. And anyway, I did this. Let me show you. I think it's on my phone. I think I kept it. Oh, it's on Twitter, so. Eileen, and if y'all don't know the whole thing with Eileen and the flamingos, I'm not going to get into the story, but I will show you. Eileen, I couldn't help it. We had to tease Eileen. So here's April getting ready to give birth to the calf. Look, Eileen, she finally had it. I couldn't help it but Photoshop in a flamingo. And of course everybody got a good laugh out of that, but we love our Eileen, our enabler elf. Do you have Stickles contacted? No. I know everybody likes, Stickles have been around forever. It's just that we start reusing things again and again, And but hi, Jen. And by the way, I did mention again, if you do use Stickles on your color book pages, make sure you thin it out with your finger or whatever. Like here on these mountains. Let's see if I can get it to. See where the stickles are on those mountains right there? When you put it on out of the little tubes, make sure you smooth it out with your finger. Because if it gets lumpy and bumpy, when you go to do the next page, you're going to be coloring over a bump. Oh, okay. Eileen says her neighbors are going to love the flamingo Post-it notes on their cars. Do your neighbors park in the wrong place a lot, Eileen? You have to leave them notes. Well, those are going to be perfect because they'll never suspect it's you. Oh my gosh. I'm getting there all the way across the page with this one, at least this one shade. And look, right here's a snowman that's melted. Look, there's this little head with the stick nose and the coal eyes there, I think. Or those are his buttons. Yeah, those are his buttons going down. So there's a melting snowman right in here. Good job, Kirby. The mountains and sky look so awesome. Thanks. Thank you, Angie Bell. Good to see you, by the way. This is just the first layer of snow shadow. Remember, don't oversaturate it. Keep it kind of dry. You have to type stickles like this to make Diane with the spaces between. She looked so cute when she got to meet up with Jen. And I'm glad Jen and them had, if y'all didn't know, Jen Oz, the one that visited me and others here where I streamed it. They spent, I think, like 5 or 6 days in New York and got to go to, see, I think I want that nice and dark under that snow cap. Got to go to the Statue of Liberty, Ground Zero. They went and saw Wicked, the stage play. They got to do a lot of stuff, and I'm so glad they just got to like chill for a few days and not drive, because I mean those two are driving. They're driving from San Francisco all the way. They've already come all the way down here, down to Georgia, up the East Coast, and I think, aren't they supposed to go to Niagara Falls? I haven't seen if they made it to Niagara Falls. Then they're going to drive all the way back to San Francisco. They're taking 2 months. It's like their trip of a lifetime. Spending 2 months traveling across the United States and visiting as many of the friends in the box as they can possibly visit along the way. Is today Yee's birthday? Yee, I don't, you know what, I think you said that before and I don't have your address, Yee. Let me look in my thing. I don't think did I send you a card? Because for some reason I'm thinking I don't have your address, Yee. Yeah. I don't think I have it. So happy birthday. Hey, Vicky. I know, and they're driving back. Yeah, Vicky. They got to see Vicky. She made me a little card. I think she made everybody one. I'm not sure. But here's my little clippy Australian koala bear, and I have them clipped on my little card here. And this is all the places all the people they're going to visit, all the stops to visit, all the fibs, the friends in the box. Her birthday was Friday. Happy birthday, Yee. So we're working on the Yeti page in the Mythomorphia by Kirby Rosannes. So I don't know if it's Rosannes or Rosannes. I've always just called it Rosannes, but this is what the cover looks like. And I showed this earlier. I've done a couple of pages. Oh, I don't know, Vicki, you weren't here. Look, here's my dragon page I finished. I talked about it earlier and told all the steps that I did on that one. So yeah, that one took a while. Not gonna lie, that took quite a while. But it's half painted, half colored pencil. This one right now, at this stage, I'm just doing just Neocolor on this one so far. A little bit of shading pencil in the mountains, just a little. But I'm trying to keep the pencil to a minimum. Like I might just get some of the really dark areas. I don't know, I might have to get in some pencil in some of these animals and stuff. I haven't got that far yet. I know, I love that because it can follow along, but I don't know if she's made it to Niagara Falls. I lost track because yesterday I was at the lake all day, so I kind of lost track of what was going on yesterday. Thanks, Vicki. With the family, the Easter get-together that we have. So. Thanks. So, I don't know, does anybody know their itinerary today or this week. Again, if you want to go back over and get darker areas, let it sit for a minute and dry. Thanks, Dorothy. Dorothy must be having a hard time getting in. Thanks for watching, Dot, from afar. Just get in there with another layer, see? But don't oversaturate. Let it sit for a minute and dry, and then you can get back in there and shade more. Right now I'm just using one color and a couple layers to get the depth. Oh, thanks, Vicky. Boo actually took that picture of me. I don't post many pictures of myself, you know, but I don't really show my face that much here because we're working, you know. And I don't have multiple cameras things to show my face and my work at the same time. So it's either usually one or the other. But Boo took that picture of me, so I did post it on Twitter. I didn't post it anywhere else, but I'll show you. Because Boo did a great job. She did take it with my camera in the portrait feature. I don't know if y'all know on 7, on the iPhone 7, if you go into your photos, you know, at the bottom it has square, it has, let me look at them because I forget them now. At the bottom, it'll say, you know, it'll have video, photo. Well, there's portrait now. And it like kind of zooms in, and what it does is diffuses the background. So anyway, Boo took a picture of, well, I took lots of family pictures over the weekend, but including my sister-in-law's dog. But yeah, where is it? Boo took this one of me. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty good picture. So yeah, thought she did good. And I showed some of the pictures off camera. I mean, off recording of the grands. But thank you, Vicky. That was nice. But yeah, unless somebody visits, like Denise and I are cleaning, or like when Jen was here, we do face-to-face. But we just, you know, I don't really have the time to like reset the camera. Sometimes when we do cameo, silhouette cameo episodes, I'll have a face-to-face because you can't really see what the cameo's doing anyway. But yeah, not too many face-to-faces around here. Hey, Whippy. Good to see you. So you can see I'm just kind of, again, now that this is set for a minute, it's, you know, getting dry. If you're not sure, you know, let it dry more or hit it with a heat gun. I'm way down here on the edge, so it's a little tricky. I'm just kind of making sure I stay in camera. But we had a good time at the family get-together. Oh, Dorothy's not feeling well. Oh, get well, Dorothy. Aw, thanks. Thanks, Jessica. How much time? Okay, we're good on time. Alright, let's get back up under these little icicles here and around this little owl. I know if it's, you know, again, guys, if you're watching the recording and this is getting long, watching me color in snow, just fast forward. Oh my gosh, I saw a hilarious video on Facebook. I can't remember the girl. They just linked a YouTube video. If any of y'all really want it, I'll find it for you later. But I saw it on Facebook, and it was a thing on, if you don't like a person's videos, why are you watching them? Don't you know that there's that little X that you can just shut down the video? It was hilarious. She goes, and if somebody's tying you up and making you watch videos you don't want to watch, you need to report that because that's just wrong. That's hilarious. So anyway, I say that to say, if this is not your cup of tea, just move on, right? All right, so I think I at least got a first layer. Again, now you can go back over the whole thing again and put another layer in the darkest darks. You know where the darkest bits of snow would be? And get in there with even a darker color. I mean, another layer. Oh, good, Jessica. I'm glad you like to see the snow color. Yeah, it's the same purple that we used up here in the mountain here. Okay, and now, all right, so what I want to do now, well, again, I would go over the whole thing again and go in here and find all the darker areas. That girl needs a coat on. She just got on some sleeves there. It's probably pretty cold. And go in here and find another whole layer of shading. See, like under here, you know. Shadows under, like there's a little club there. Here's a little snowman there. All kinds of little hidden things in Kirby's books. And he has the answers in the back if you ever get lost and don't know what something is. You did a snow scene. It made me a big, yeah, it does. It is, well, you can see how long it's taking. You know, I've been working on it for, what, 45 minutes or something like that on just the snow. But, again, people want to see how it looks, how to do it, and also, you know, I don't do any speeded up videos for a couple reasons. One, we're a live show with a live chat. And the other thing is I like to show people how long things take. If this was all speeded up, then don't email me if you do speeded up videos. Oh my gosh, you know, I can hear it now. Don't email me. I'm just saying you don't, unless you say in the video, I'm speeding this up and you're seeing it in 10 minutes, but it really took me 2 hours. Nobody knows how long it took, right? So I always appreciate it if I ever do watch speeded up videos, which is rare because I like long videos that I can watch while I'm working. But I always appreciate it when the YouTuber or streamer or who, you know, uploader, the video uploader, says how long something took. You know, oh, here's a 10-minute video. In real time was 2 hours or whatever it is, right? Because otherwise, and that's true with drawing videos, painting videos, coloring book videos, any of them. You know, you don't know how long it actually took. And so you see somebody and you're watching a video for 10 minutes and you go, oh my gosh, I'm going to do that. And you start coloring or painting or drawing, and it takes you hours and hours and hours. You go, oh my gosh, you know, because you had no clue how long it actually took. So I really don't apologize for doing long videos because people see how long it really takes. And plus, I just like sitting here and chatting with you guys. So, I found that new book paper is more absorbent when I painted the turtle page. I used a little water, but the paper suck it up. Yeah. Now that's funny that you say that, Whippy, because Laura was just here. Well, I don't know if she's still here. Yeah. Yeah. Well, she's here, but I don't know if she's here. She was saying that the pages in this Mythomorphia are thicker. And Whippy just said that she found that the pages were more absorbent and absorb the water and more than the other thin page books. And Laura said that she actually had her Neocolors go through So we just wondered if she had a weird printed book, because mine are not going through. Yeah, it does. When you watch a speeded up video, it makes it look so easy, right? Okay, Yee, I'm going to send you out a birthday card. It'll be late, but that's okay. You'll get one. Um, because I thought I had your address before and I didn't, Yee. Um, so I don't know if it's I don't know if it's certain books or did some of them not have a same amount of coding on them or what? I don't know. But mine are not going through. But again, I am being very careful not to oversaturate it. Yeah, that's what happened to Laura. So I don't know. That's odd, because these pages are so much thicker than his other two, the Mythomorphia and Anamorphia. Okay, so she's a little bit darker behind her there. But yeah, so I don't know. But I'm glad Laura's not the only one then, Whippy, that happened to. Maybe I'll have hard water in your water pen. Just kidding. You have hard water in your water pen, it's going to go through. And you did use your heat gun between layers. That's weird, Whippy. I don't know. Odd. Odd, odd, odd. Okay, so again, I won't go over the whole thing again, but that's what I will be doing. Is I'm going to go back over all the snow again and add another, because it's like watercolor, guys. You got to build it up in layers, but at the same time you can't oversaturate because it's not watercolor paper. All right, but I'm going to go in here all through the whole double page spread and add more shadows. See, like that? See how there's not as much shadows right here as there are here? And just with the same color, by going in and adding more shadows, it just gives it more depth. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Deb Colors. Yeah, I love, that's what I do. I watch long videos, color book, drawing, painting, podcast type, where people are just talking about art. I watch all those. I watch Ustream, Twitch, different video, recordings. If I can't be there live, I'll just put them on while I'm working. Because I don't watch TV in here in my studio. It's just videos that I watch or podcasts I listen to while I'm working. So when I'm doing my, portraits or whatever I'm doing, I'm watching somebody in the background. I don't like to gesso anything. I'm not a gesso person. It's way too much trouble. I barely even varnish most of my stuff. And I don't varnish any kind of, like water soluble. You can't varnish it. I guess you could seal it with a spray sealer and then varnish it and all that. I don't do that with color book pages. Trust me. But no, I don't gesso anything. Nothing. If I need a layer of base coat paint, it's just white acrylic paint. And I rarely do that, if ever. Hey, Button. Yes. There are game, it started as a gaming thing, and, but there's creative on Twitch as well. Now, a couple things about Twitch. There's like a couple other, I don't know how many. You have to imagine a bunch of young kid gamers moving over into creative. That's, you got to kind of keep it in mind what you're getting into over there. I don't think they have any language monitoring. They can say whatever they want. The thing is about I noticed that they can do on Twitch is that they can listen to music and stuff. But their recordings don't last unless you're a paid spot, a paid Twitch person that or I don't know what they call it, not sponsored, but it's anyway. Your videos don't last over there any longer than they do on Ustream as far as keeping them up. And a lot of them will play music and stuff in the background, so they can't upload them to YouTube because the YouTube restrictions. So they're not really saved videos, if you know what I mean. They're more just like live art shows. And they're like there for a little bit, maybe a week or two, but they're really not saved videos. Yeah, it can get risque. Exactly, Vicky. And no, I don't know who that is. I don't think I've ever heard of her. I follow maybe about 10 people on Twitch. But just you have to just be aware what you're getting into over there. And Twitch is not as bad as some. I mean, some places. And I'm not saying it's bad. Don't get me wrong. Bailey J does shows over there. And she's sponsored by Adobe. Here's what I would recommend. If you're going to watch anything on Twitch, go follow the Adobe channel. Because Adobe, I think, makes them have family friendly. So if you watch creative shows, painting shows and stuff through Twitch on the Adobe, follow Adobe, and then you'll have, family friendly videos. Let's put it that way. Yeah, I don't use clear gesso either. I don't gesso anything. I guess you could gesso your color book pages, but if you use gesso, you're going to have to depend on what you're going to put on top of it. Okay, so for instance, I like to put acrylic paint, we already talked about this earlier, as a base, and your color pencil will work well on that. And I'm sure if you gessoed, whether it's clear gesso over it, then your acrylic, then your pencils would probably, depending on the gesso, because some gessos are really textury. I can't stand that. I don't like any kind of, I don't want texture, okay? I mean, I don't want bumpy. I don't want lumpy stuff. My acrylic, my Americana washes are very thin and smooth. There's no bump to it. You can't even feel them on the page. That being said, if you do a clear gesso on your color book pages, be aware you are putting a barrier for water. That means your watercolor is not going to, it won't soak in at all. It'll probably just float. So if you're going to use water medium, you better test it on a separate page to see what happens when you use your watercolors on gesso. It's not going to work like the same, okay? Yeah. So just be aware that if you want to do water-soluble mediums on top of gessoed, or, it's going to be different. Okay? Don't, because nothing's going to soak in, right? Because of the gesso, clear or otherwise. When you do your napkin journal, what glue? I use a golden matte medium, Miss Fernanda, for my napkin journal and all my collage. Let's see, where do I have some? Here, let me reach over here and get some. Hang on, guys, I'm reaching. This is what I use to glue not just my napkin journal, but all my collage. Golden matte medium. It's not gel. Gel medium is a completely different thing. Matte medium is very liquidy. Gel is what it says. It's gel. It's thick. I just don't prime my color book pages, guys. Maybe that the matte medium would, I'm sure it would coat it and keep it from soaking through, but it's going to change your paper. You go to put water-soluble medium on top of your matte medium, and it's going to be different. You have to test every book, every medium. It has to be tested because they're all different. And trust me, every color book is different. This is me personally, am not going through all the trouble of gessoing a color book page. I personally will not do it. No, I have some, Eileen. I have some. That's just me. Okay, so I've got a nice coat going here, but you see where it still needs more, another layer of darker up in here. Okay. So it all needs to have another layer to darken it, just like you would watercolor. And again, guys, try what you want. Just because I don't do it doesn't mean it can't work or can't be done, or you might love it. Just like people that use Gamasol to move their Prismacolor wax and blend it. Not me. Not putting anything oily on my color book pages. That's just me. I just, that's just me. Okay, so again, you just got to keep going. Now, I'm going to come in here in the little river area, and I want to use some of the bluer color. Maybe even do I want it lighter? Oh, I'll start with this. So this is the sky blue, and here in the river, that's not enough contrast. It's still too much the same. It's too much the same. Let's see, what do I want to use? Do I want a purpler color? Almost I think I'm going to go with the lavender color, the red violet. No, that wouldn't look good in the river. Because I want a contrast. I don't want the same color in the river, but I don't want a purple river. But I don't want, I want it to still be snowy. I guess I just have to do a different shade of purple. Maybe, let's try this one. It's a little different. It's not that different, but it's a little different. It's a little different purple. It's like a little bit redder, but not too red. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that, because it's going to have an ice flow through it, right? And I'm going to put stickles in there. So I'm going to leave it a lot white. And I think what I'll get in there, though, more is along the edges, where I'll shade the edges. Nice 2 or 3 shades. 2 or 3 shades of purple. And this color is periwinkle. So the periwinkle in the river. And again, I'm going to put some along the edges and in some of the little ripples that like the ice flow areas. And this is good to like get in the crack of the book like that too sometimes. Hey, Orla. I sent your granddaughter out a card last week, Orla, thanking her for her bookmark. She should get it, well, I don't know, it takes a while to get to Canada. Alright, so I'm just going to keep, again, after it dries, I can add another little bit, see? But I'm going to twinkle up the river part like I did the snow caps with stickles. And I'll try to do that before we finish this segment. And they'll be darker way back in there, under the bridge. So as that dries, then I can put another layer on top. Thanks. Oh, good. I'm glad you like the snow lesson. So, like, right along the bank here, it'll be nice and dark, like if there's a shadow from the snow shelf, And it might take a couple layers, just dry in between. This one that's sticking out here. Hey, Erin. I follow Erin on Instagram. She has some good posts. If you don't follow on Instagram, I'm Inky Well with an I on Instagram, Twitter, Don't put an inkwell on Twitter because you'll get Pedro. Pedro doesn't like it when we link him to all our conversations. Jean's still here. If Aaron or anybody else is joining me, we're just coloring in Mythomorphia by Kirby Rosannes, and we're working on the Yeti, and this was done last week, and as you can see, I'll tilt it so you can see the glitter on the snow caps. There we go. So that stickles on the snow caps and some of the stars. Again, I would recommend, guys, doing that after you've done everything else. I did it a little early so you could see it done, but you really want to do that. So it's like the icing on the cake, literally, right? You want to do that after you're done with everything so that it's not bothering you or in your way or anything. You know, just do that last. Oh, good. Amazon UK would ship it in May 20th. Yeah, I had mine on order on Amazon, and then I saw it in the stores, and it was like, hello, I pre-ordered this a month ago. All right, now what I want to do is I want to do some real dark, let's see, what color is this? This is indigo blue. Let me get my scratch paper here. I had one on my scratch paper. Oh, there we go. Let's see here. Yeah, it's indigo blue, but it tends to go to the purple side. That's one of the things that I would say about the 84 set, and I probably next time I'm at the big Blick store, I could just order it online, is ordering more blues. They don't have enough blues, in my opinion, in this set. That glitter is great. I'm thinking of getting some sparkling H2O. Yeah, and I have the sparkling H2O. I haven't tried the H2Os, the twinkling H2Os on my color book page, but we'll go ahead and do that. I have some, so I just haven't used them for years. I have a tray of them. But again, if you use any of the stickles or the thicker glitter on your pages, make sure that you kind of like blend it out with your finger so it's not bumpy, because otherwise when you go to color on the back page, you're going to be coloring on top of bumps, right? All right, so now I want to do a little bit of the tree snow. So now I'm going to take this dark indigo. It's called indigo, but it's more purple than blue in my opinion. Thanks, Deb Colors. Deb Colors, are you a YouTuber? If you're a YouTuber, one of the girls can open links for you to post it so we can get to know you. Now, I'm going to be very tiny with this because I don't want to overdo this, especially at first. I want to get in here on the trees and get in here in the dark shadows, but I'm going to just use the very tip and get in here very tiny, okay? And what I'm going to try my best to achieve is this side see where the sun's going down? This side of the trees are going to be, you know, a little bit lighter. I want more shadow on the back side. I mean, I'm still want it to be, there's going to be dark areas all over, but what my plan is here is to let's get all the shadows, right? Like, let me just do one full tree here. I want to get all the shadows first so we don't get lost. And I'm just using the very tip of the brush and getting in there real tiny. Thanks, Terry. Take care of that wing. Whippy says she put her twinkling H2Os on the turtle. Oh, it went away. Sorry, Whippy. You put the H2Os on the turtle and something happened. I'm afraid to ask. What happened to your turtle, Whippy? All right, so you see how I'm going to do, I'm getting in here real tight first. Real tight with the darks. because the trees are snow covered as well. Bye, Funda. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody stopping in. And for however long you can. The waves of the turtle page. Ah, okay. So you put it on the waves of the turtle page. That's awesome. Did you post it, Whippy, or have you finished it yet? You'll need to follow Whippy over on Instagram as well. Everybody, even if links aren't open, feel free to put your channel names or something in there. Okay. So now this is going to be darker. See where this tree's in front of that tree's in front of this tree. So it is going to have some really darks behind here. And it's going to take a couple layers and a little bit of thinking of where all your darks are. But it's going to be really dark behind that tree. Okay. So I'm getting that in there. Now, this side's still going to be lighter than this side. So what I want to do, and you got to be brave, people. You got to be brave. Is I'm going to get some. I don't want to overdo at first. Let me just kind of. And the back side of the tree over here, I'm just going to kind of put a wash over the whole thing. Now, again, don't oversaturate your page if you have to do it in 2 layers, because it's the water that's going to ruin your page. It's going to go through. All right, and maybe a little bit in the middle here, but mostly light on this side. Got to keep it kind of, okay? So you see how, and you can put a little bit, a tiny bit, look, I got a little too much. So you see how it's kind of like gradiated. I mean, it's got a little bit more, it's just a little lighter purple on this side with maybe just leaving a little bit of white snow. But the back side is darker. Now I'm going to dry this before I add another layer, okay? Wait, what question, does the white pencil go over? Yes, it not quite as well as acrylic paint, but you can go over the neo colors with your pencil. But it's not quite, it doesn't have the same amount of tooth as acrylic paint. Okay, heat gun. All right, so now I'm going to go in for another layer. So I'm going to start by putting in really darker darks back in there. Under the snow-capped boughs. Or is that bows? I guess you could say either way. You know, the tree branches. All right, so you see how I'm darkening them up again? But you got to dry in between, guys. Dry in between. And test your color books because everyone's different. Yeah, links aren't open. You got to type it out or ask one of the mods to open it for you. They'll open it. Oh, whoa, Bright Meadow. This is the way Neil colors are used. Need to shout out here, so don't use gesso. Make my own. If you want homemade clear gesso. Yeah, I don't use gesso. I don't know if anybody wants to know how to make clear gesso, then ask her. But yeah, I don't gesso anything in a color book. That's just me, guys. I don't gesso anything really on anything. All right, so again, see how I'm really getting dark back in that side, and a little just not as dark on this side. Now, if you want this tree to be even darker, then take another wave over it. Okay, but again, be careful of the saturation. So you see how I got it really shadowed back there now? And maybe my edges will be really darker compared to the ones closer up here to the light coming down. Okay, so you kind of see how that's working? Kind of see how that's working there? All right, I'm going to do the next tree here in front. I'd like to at least get a couple trees done. And then we'll have to stop this video and we'll do something else. All right, so again, I'm going to get in here. I hope y'all can see. I'm trying to keep it close enough to see the whole double page spread. And then this side will be a little darker. But I'm getting in there. But this is how I'm going to do all the trees. Now the light's going to be on this side. Pay attention to this part because I didn't even think to say this till just now. The light from the sunset is going to light up this side, right? See how this side's lighter and then darker? Well, it's going to be the opposite over here. So these trees are going to be light on this side and darker back here. I can't read that whole instruction, Bright Meadow. It scrolls off too fast. So maybe some of the other girls can see it, but it scrolls off too fast for me to see all those instructions. So this side of the trees are going to be light because that's where the sun is. Okay, and same thing for down here. They're going to be light on the top and dark, dark up underneath. And then the light's going to be on this side. Thanks, Clarissa. And then dark, dark on this side of the tree so that it looks like the light's hitting it, right? I hope that makes sense. And you just got to kind of decide back in under these branches how dark and where you want it to, you know, be really dark under there. This one's under this branch here. So I'm just starting with the shading here on the white trees and kind of getting that filled in underneath the branches. Like that. Now I want like a wash on this side of the tree, and I'm going to kind of wave it around so it doesn't get on that one so much. And I'm going to just kind of shade on that side. And it's not an exact thing, it's just kind of all in there. And it's still light and dark, and you just got to kind of work it, play at it, see? Whereas this side, you might have a little bit more dark down here behind this tree. And then real dark underneath. Like that. So see, you still see light areas, but it's where nothing is blocking the light, that it's going to be really bright. Okay? Does that help? I don't know. Alright, let's do the next one. Again, I'm going to just get in there with the fussy shadowing. And I'm trying to do as much as I can with the Neo colors. But if you don't feel comfortable doing all those swishy washes with the Neo color, just make sure it's 100% dry and go in there and work it with your pencils on top of it. If you don't feel comfortable just doing a big wash right over everything. You can do that with pencil. It'll take longer, but you know, it's more exact. I just kind of like this kind of free watercolory kind of washy look, you know, and so that's why we use different things. Sometimes acrylic washes, sometimes Neo colors, sometimes just pencils, and all different kinds of pencils. Even Crayola crayons we've done. We use the Crayola markers. We've used the water brush, the water soluble, the clear, Kuretake clear water color real brush markers. We've used a little of everything. And that's what color books to me are awesome for, is experimenting, color combinations. There's just so many things you can learn by doing things in a color book. And I know a lot of people are afraid they're going to mess up their books. Again, if you're afraid, you're one of those that are terrified of messing up your color book, make a copy like we did earlier with picture go, where we did the my first time testing out the Hoo Hero markers. We did this on part 1 today. And you can see, look, this is my first time trying to use alcohol-based markers on skin with 3 markers. I only have 3 colors of skin color in the Hoo Heroes. And that's what I wanted to keep it to. So there's a video on this from earlier today that I'll upload later. But my point is it's, you know, if you're afraid to do it in your color book, print it out on a piece of cardstock and test it out. Now, my Epson inkjet Epson ink does not smear, but some inks may. So you need to test your inks out when you have an inkjet printer, whether those will smear or not. Yeah, I did like the Who's, but the thing is, Vicki, that was my first attempt at using them, and so it's like I felt a little pressure. You know, because it's like, I don't know what I'm doing, people. This is practice. All right, I need a little bit darker behind him. It's going to be a little darker back there. All right, so now I'm going to grab some off of here, and I want all this to be darker on this side. But still, you can still see light. See how, because I put those first initial shadows in here, real dark shadows, it's because those dark shadows are there that I can now take and put another layer right over the top, and it just makes it darker in there, right? Thanks, Eileen. Honestly, don't know where I got the idea. Everything needs to be... Yeah, everything does not have to be a Rembrandt. Exactly, Julie Mick. Mickey D, Julie. But that's true of a lot of people. I'm not going to kid you. A lot of people think that. Now, those snowflakes are a little bright. I think I'm going to just go over those snowflakes just a little, so they're not a little bit distracting. There we go. And now, after I do all these trees, okay, I can flick on some more snowflakes. Again, the snowflake flickering, the stickling, all that should be done at the end. Okay, I went ahead and did it because we spent a couple hours on this, so I wanted you to see the end result, so I went ahead of myself and sprinkled the snowflakes, put on the stickles and all that so you could see it. But flicking the acrylic paint and putting the stickles on, wait till you're done with your whole page. Then you can flick snow over the whole thing and not just in a certain area, right? So, yeah. Okay. A little bit more shadow on this. But again, make sure you dry in between or just don't oversaturate, because it'll go through or pill your color book. So there. So you can kind of see how it's dark, but you still, again, if you need even darker shadows, let that dry and then go back in there and get even darker shadows. And you could do this with pencil too. If you're afraid to, do too many washes with the Neocolor or a watercolor, then go in there with your color pencil and do this part. Fear not the color book. Alright, so this is nice and bright, but I might want just a touch tone down, just a little. And again, don't forget, on this side, the light is going to be on this side, but when you come over here, the light's going to be on this side of the tree. All right, let's go ahead and do one more here. Okay, so I'm going to get down in here where the shadow from this tree is going to be on that one. And then right down in there, get those little fussy shadows in there. Because then when you put the next layer over it, they're going to be nice and dark already in there for you. And I hope y'all can see okay. What a button say? Try that Janet's. I don't know, y'all tried something and it didn't work at Janet's. I don't know. Janet was playing with her Hoo-Hoo's markers on one of her shows. Because, see, the thing is, guys, Paula enabled us to buy those. And then Janet got them, Eileen got them, I got them, a whole bunch of, Julie Topaz got them. All God's children got to have Hoo-Hoo markers. So anyway, we all been playing with them and experimenting with them. Okay, thanks, Vicki. Yeah, I'm trying to kind of not get too zoomed in because I'm going back and forth, so you can see the whole double page spread, right? After I do this tree, then I'm going to stickle the water here, and then I'll stop this video. But everybody wanted to see more snow, so I'll make sure and title this, more snow. Or something like that. And all my color book pages, well, all my videos, or most all my videos, they're in playlist, divided up in playlists, whether it's color book, mixed media collage, or whatever. I try to divide them up for you to see, find things pretty easy. You got them too, Suzanne? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so, yeah, Vicki, you didn't hear what happened to Jean this morning. Jean and somebody else in Canada. So what happened was, Vicki and anybody else is just getting here. Now, see, I'm shading this back side of that tree again. Okay? And maybe just a little here and there, but keeping it really light on this side. Right? Like that. And of course, if you mess it up and it gets too dark, go back in there with your acrylic paint or your Posca or whatever, and add get some white back. Get some of that white back if you need to. So anyway, what happened, Vicki, is Jean and somebody else went on Amazon CA and apparently Amazon Canada. And apparently they, the Hoo-Hoo markers, the one that we got for $38 for 80 markers, were on sale for $14.44. And that's the only reason she bought them. She and somebody else. $14.44. So they bought them. They ordered them. Well, come to find out, I guess that was a misprint because like 5 minutes later, literally, not even 5 minutes later, they were at $144. So Jean and I don't know who else, I forget now, in Canada, got their sets for $14.44. So they must have just put them in wrong or something, and then caught their mistake. So yeah, they got a deal on their markers. So I need a little dark right down in here behind this tree. I know, right? Okay, so again, this is going to have a shadow on this side. Right? And probably down in here too, because there's a little tree there. Okay, but I really should have gone in here first with the darkest darks. I'm getting ahead of myself because I wanted to get this side done. And then do the river with the stickles. And again, I haven't tried my, I should try my twinkling H2Os on something. Because I have them and I'm not using them. But today I'm going to go with stickles. So, yeah, you just got to keep, shading down and around areas. And the light's going to be more now coming on top of these two here. So probably be a little darker right in there, maybe. Wish I had been the yeah, Shells tried to go in there and get him. It was too late. All right, so there we go, guys. I'm going to stop on that, and we'll just kind of take a little look-see over the whole thing, because it is a little flash. I have to tilt it a little so you can see the color. See, that's more the color than that. And probably now let me try to hit my true color or my light lock again, because it's probably, since the light's gone over the side of the house, let's do the right light. And let's get rid of the camera settings on top. I get so frustrated sometimes because I have a fine trimmer in your hand and can't make your pencils. Well, maybe, K-More, that watercoloring would be better for you then. Because you want it kind of that, I don't want to say shaky, but you want it kind of not perfect with the watercolor look. That may be your best bet, to use either Neocolors, watercolor, or like the watercolor brushes. Look at this is what happens. I was holding this in my hand like this the whole time, guys. Holding it in my hand. Look at it got all over my hand from holding it. It like the heat from my hand melted it into my hand while I was holding it. So let's watch out for this, shall we? When you're holding your Neocolors in your hand, this will be the result. Let me get a baby wipe. I didn't even pay attention. I was so into coloring. Yeah. Alrighty. So, let's get off the excess Neocolors and move my Neocolors off the table. Gotta make a space. Watercolor tray, and that. All right. So, so there we go. And I'll take a picture of it, guys. It's obviously not done, but you can see. So we went from these trees. Okay, that's what they look like to start with. And then we went to that. Okay, and I would add stickles or some shiny something. I'm not going to do it today because I'm probably want a little bit more shadowing going on. And again, your stickles, your snow splatter, all that, you want to do that after you're done with everything. But I am going to stickle up the river. So let's move my cat back on here. Let's see, what stickles do I want to use? I think I might have used, I don't know if I used, which stickles I used. I like either Stardust or Diamond, either one, just whatever's clear. I wouldn't use Distress stickles because they're crunchier. Yeah, I know, I need to put something in my hand, right, Eileen? The Distress stickles are bigger glitter, and it's like chunkier, and that's going to leave bumps and stuff. You don't want bumpy, lumpy glitter for the reason that when you go to do the back side, then you're going to have bumps that you have to work with. So if you, and I hope this one's got something in it. I'm shaking it down and see. So this is the Stardust. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the whole river. Now again, you want to do this at the end. I probably, I might need just, let me just grab a pencil because I already put the stickles away. I need just a little bit more shadow. Oh, Let's see, is this one dark enough? I need just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. I just need a little bit more shading under some of that far snow. And once you put the stickles on, there's no more painting or penciling. So I'd want to make sure I have those areas back there. Like right here under the ledge. I want that a little darker. And you could just put another layer of neo colors if you want. But I'm just going to go in here with pencil because I already put the neo colors away. Okay, so this is my water. Right under the little ice shelf there. Maybe right in here, right under there. Okay. Right back in there, I missed a spot. Okay. So now I'm going to put stickles over the whole river. Not the rocks here, but the whole river. Alright, don't get clogged up on me now. Don't want to have to go hunt up a needle to unclog you. So I'm covering the whole thing, and then I'll smooth it out with my finger to make sure there's no bumps. Again, these types, the stickles and the splatter probably should wait till you're done with everything and do it at the very last. But I want to show y'all what it looks like, so, you know, I'll sacrifice the page for you. Not really, it'll be fine. Alright, so now I'm just going to make sure that there's no, there's nothing lumpy and bumpy, because that will affect the next page. Alright, there we go. So now, let's see if I can capture it in the light. Come on. I hope y'all can see a little bit of the shine. Can't really see it because the light wants to. But the whole purple river is in shine. There we go. Yeah, you can see it right there. See? Isn't that cool? And some of this darker purple, I still have more layers to do on the snow. See how we got the trees nice there? We still have more colors to do in the snow. But I'm kind of snowed out. There we go. There's the color better. So I'm going to stop this video and we'll see if we want to do something else. But, yeah. Because when I lay it down, see the light wants to flash it out. So I'm going to stop this video. Thanks, everybody. Again, I'm not going to close the book because there's wet stickles there. But I want to close it enough so you can see the cover. So this is what we're working in. Mythomorphia, Kirby Roseanne's. It's his new book. He also has out, let me go to the back here. He also has Anamorphia and Imagimorphia, which we work in both of those too. Yeah. But make sure, again, I got to say it again, make sure, of course, you have to let stickles dry pretty much a few hours. But make sure that you thin it down. You don't want bumps for when you go to color the next page. You don't want to have to fight that. So, I just stuck my finger in the, so I'm cleaning off the stickles again off my hands here. So, okay guys, well hang on, we'll see what else we want to, what other kind of trouble we want to get into today. So, yeah, so thanks everybody for watching, and I'll be right back. On the paper, I just cover it back up with another layer, and then eventually I'll take them all off and start over. So anyway, Yeah, so this is just an initial wash. Now you can go in here with all kinds of pencil effects or more paint, more acrylic paint and everything. Let's move my thing under there. Okay, and then that one, and then the one that we were working on last week, 2 of them here. This double page spread, I finished her. And you see all that white glow? All that? That's because this is acrylic paint. So that's how you can get that glow. And so I wanted the whole tree to glow, and with the little fairies there. And then these big streaks here are a Posca pen, and you can use a Posca pen or or the Sharpie paint pen, either one, just a paint pen. And I streaked them out, and then did the shadowing, the shading with white pencil. So I finished this one, and I did it all with just a yellow-orange Crayola Kid marker and the mint green and pink Crayola Kid markers, water-based, bullet tip, super tip. And there's, I did some of this on a video. And then I went in there with pink and mint pencil to shade the whole tree and all of this, and then a little bit of the orange. There's more of that orange marker, because those are the colors that I wanted in her. Now I did him to be like somehow connected to her by the background, but I haven't decided even what I want to do on this side yet, other than I've started doing some grays in his club there. But I really like the way it turned out. I haven't posted a picture of this. I was kind of waiting to see if I wanted to post this when I had this one done, but I might just go ahead and post this picture on its own. Okay, then I got another one going here with a wash. Again, I want the water's going to be green. Little demo 1,000 times, but so now I'm going to take my white pencil and I'm going to bear down as hard as I can on top of this black. Okay, it's smearing off into the side there, but look at you can't see any white on there, you know, and I'm pushing as hard as I can. Okay, and the best you can get is a dark gray. Now make sure anytime you use a light color pencil on top of a dark pencil, see that? You always want to make sure, that's why my table's always got pencil marks all over. I'm cleaning off the pencil. You want to make sure that your pencils are clean. Now, this is black acrylic paint. I'm going to look, I'm going to hold my pencil way back here with hardly any pressure. Look. See that white? And that's just a line. Here, I'll put some pressure on it there. See how you can do that? That's on top of acrylic paint. You can't do that on top of pencil. So when you have a wash of paint, this is the effects you can have. You can get like pretty glowy effects. Let's make it show up a little better. And you'll see me do tons of different things with the pencil on top of acrylic. But I like to show this every now and then, because you can't get this. You can't get those glows and those light colors on top of dark colors on top of pencil. Okay? So, there's a little example. Okay, so anyway, that being said, my point is these messy washes in the background. Have the paper cover on your... No, that's not why. The reason I have my table covered, these are just cheap folding tables. You know, folding, you get them at the hardware store. This is a 6-foot one here. And I have a couple layers. I start with a couple layers of paper just for cushioning. And now I think this is layer 14. We tested it out last week. I cut a slice in it to see how many layers. So when it gets too bad... Okay, welcome back everybody to Coffee and Art on Monday morning. and I am going to work a little bit more in Mythomorphia. I gotta remember to put that O in there. You know, like, let's do this. No, I can't do that because I need to take another picture of it first. I was gonna put a little arrow there, but I'll let me wait till I take another picture because I have to have a clean copy for my thumbnails. Anyway, so I have worked a little bit in the Mythomorphia. I have added an acrylic wash, and I'm going to tilt it up a little so you can see the color because the light's right there and it wants to flash it out just a little. So it's a little darker in person than you're probably seeing on camera. But I did a wash on the back of this with acrylic. And when I say a wash, I just mean a watered down Americana craft paint. Okay? Just water it down and do a wash. If you use it straight on, which you can use, it's straight on, and I'll do that a lot of times with a flat black background, as I just use it straight out of the tube or out of the jar or whatever you want to call it. But you got to remember, it's going to cover up your lines. So if you want to see any lines in the background, like here's some water rocks and coral or something in the background here. If you want to see your color book lines, you've got to water it down and make it into a wash. Just watered down acrylic paint. I like Americana craft paint just because it's my favorite. No sponsored or nothing like that. I just like it. So I did the backgrounds here on this page here in the blue. And then I did a teal and a kind of a lime green. Again, this is just the base. Okay? It's just the base coat. Yeah, I don't know, Clarice. It's hard to say. All right, and so I'm going to flip through and show you what else I've worked on in here. I have a wash on here, and again, it does look messy. I want it to have a watercolory effect, and this is just the initial, all kinds of shades of green, and then the sky again. This is just some white acrylic and the blue acrylic. And it's not as watered down. It's got a little bit of water in it, but there was nothing that I had to worry about that I was going to cover up. So I'm going to continue more clouds in this area. There were no designs, like this was not all over the whole thing. Because if this is kind of a little bit thicker acrylic paint with white in it, and which made it more opaque. So if you tried to put that over this, you would just completely cover that up. So if you want to see this, you have to put a wash. Just water. Okay? So there's a base coat for that. Again, it's just the base coat. And it looks a little messy. But, you know, I want it to be that not flat color in this case. Okay? Then the other thing, let's see, I think the last thing I've done is I finished this double page spread. So in this case, I started out, I'm going to try to explain all the steps I took in this because this one's not recorded. Did you do the black spots? Black spots. Here? No, there's no black spots on this one. There's a lag in chat, guys. Are you talking about this? These are, yes, I did do these dots. I did stippling with the marker. That's all stippling. So yeah, I'm trying to kind of read your mind and go back to where, you know, before the lag. And so what I did is I did the dark green stippling and an olive green kind of shade up. And then after that dried, or I think I hit it with the heat gun, then I went over it with pencil and kind of blended it up. Yeah, kind of blended it in with pencil on top of the stippling. Okay, so back on my dragon here. So what I did is I did a wash of maroon paint, a wash of a light blue paint, and then a wash of light lime green over the dragon and all these little snakes. So I'm going to try to explain to you everything I did on the page. Okay? Wash. I can go back in here with another more darker blue or with pencil. Remember, the thing about the acrylic wash, the benefit of the acrylic wash is the effects you can get with your color pencil on top of acrylic paint that you can't get on, if I had just colored this whole background with a blue pencil, you cannot go back on top of that, say with white pencil. Let me grab one here. And get that. You would not be able to do this on top of blue pencil. So, you know, there's just so many blending cool effects that you can get with your color pencil on top of an acrylic wash that you can't get with a base of just, say, blue pencil. Okay? And I know I've shown y'all, I wish I would have kept it. I always say I'm going to keep that example, and then I never do. Let me I'll show you here. Let me do my little test that I always do. Let me get the black, or some black paint. Here we go. So, oh, it's a new one. Let me open it up. And by the way, the Americana, they do have a new label. This is their newer label. Has Deco Art really big. It's the same company, same paint. It just now their Deco Art logo is bigger. Just make sure you don't get satin or gloss. If you get satin or gloss paint, the pencil will not have this, you can't do this effect, okay? So I'm just going to put a dab out here just to show you a little bit more. I just want to put a little bit out here. Okay, so we're just going to put some black acrylic paint. Where's that baby wipe I had? And then I'm going to take a black pencil and put some black pencil down. Okay, now let me dry that. You always want to make sure your paint's dry. And I know y'all have probably seen this